I don't know if anybody remembers Soren Berger used to come do demonstrations, and he always did his ladles. And when he would do his ladles, he would turn the inside and then put it into a jam chuck to hollow it out, you know, after he turned the outside. And that always looks very intimidating to me. And I had turned some, but I had used a 4-jaw chuck with wooden jaws. But when I was in Colorado a year ago, I saw, now I'm going to butcher his name, so forgive me, Christian Pierre. He owns World of Wood in Las Vegas, and a very accomplished turner. And he came up with a new method, and I said, aha, that's way too easy. So I'm going to show you a new method of doing these, and I'll let you pass these around as we... One of them's not sanded, it's from a demo.
And that's all one piece, right?
That's all one piece of wood. Absolutely. And I brought walnut tonight, so I better put on a smock or I'm going to ruin my shirt.
This is 2 tablespoons, right?
What's that?
This is 2 tablespoons, right?
I don't know. It's whatever a 1 7/8 inch it comes out to on the inside. And I like to use these stub centers just because they don't leave a deep center point. One of these ends had more checks than the other, so we're going to do it this way. And that's as fast as one on this thing. So I was a little bit open there, and if I start open, it's going to skate. So I have much better gripping power if I have a tenon. And my tenon has to have a very flat shoulder. I usually carry a ruler just so I can put it on that shoulder to ensure it's good and flat. So that's going to give me a tremendous amount more holding power in the chuck. So while I'm fussing with this, I'll pass this around. This is the magic piece that we're going to hold that round ball with. Okay, this is what makes it so easy. Now this is ultra high molecular plastic, and There is one little bump in it there, but it works. So ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
Self-made?
Yes, I turn that. I turn it to fix the jaws on my chuck. Now when I use my chuck, I'm using it with the deep tower jaws, except for this one. And this one serves no purpose other than to keep it balanced, or a little more balanced than it would be without, right? Just add a little bit of weight there. So I've turned it specifically to fit these teeth, and that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to pass that around now. Afterwards, you were mentioning Sam from Wyoming. Who was talking about Sam? Sam, right? So after the demonstration, Sam was in the room during this demonstration. And afterwards, I noticed on YouTube he was using wood to do this same thing. So you don't have to buy the fancy plastic. You could get by with a piece of wood. He did, you know. But you don't have to worry about this one breaking where you've got the thin spots. So. And we will get to that here in just a few minutes, but right now we're going to shape the outside.
Did you use a bandsaw to cut the radial cuts on that, or?
Drilled holes and then, yeah, used a bandsaw. Now, I feel like a broken man because during this demo, I realized he was right and I was going to have to do it. What we're going to do to turn the sphere, I got the mathematical rules to turn the sphere, and when he did it, he just used the one number, the 0.293, so remember that.
A little above your feet there. There we go.
Okay. And he said, you all have to convert to millimeters to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't. But then after I started multiplying by 0.2, you know, millimeters, they work pretty darn good. So he broke me. He broke me. So I have a nice set of calipers, but you don't have to have an expensive set. I got this one for next to nothing at $5.99 or something, and it would work just fine, right? Biggest problem with this one, it doesn't come with a box, and if you bump any of them, it turns itself on, and then the battery's dead when you want to use it. Right? You've been there. But just want to let you know, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to do something like this. So, I'm going to start out here and see where I'm at. I'm at 48.76, but I have flat spots still. So, let's take care of that and then see where we are. So I should be able to get a nice smooth finish there. So we can make our marks and be ready to go. $47.7. I was looking for 46. Don't tell anybody, okay? 47.7 is where we are.
Millimeters.
Millimeters. So I was going to take it down to 47 even. Well, I started out at 46. Maybe I should take it to 46. But you and I both know how much difference it really makes, right? We could get by either way. Just using the wing there as a skew. Give myself a nice smooth finish to work with. Now you've reset, haven't you? 0. 46.07. We'll take that. Okay. So, take my pencil here and make a couple marks. So in theory, that's the diameter this direction. That should be the diameter of a ball this direction, correct? And this is all where the theory meets the reality, right? Okay, so I printed off 20 of these so I could hand them out to all of you, and they're on my printer at home where they belong.
Are you related to Ron somehow?
I
feel better about
I think we're distant brothers or something, yes. Okay, so this tells me this magic number 0.293, which he told us to remember 0.2927, so 0.293 is what Harlan says. Going with 293. But that's how much material I'm going to remove from the top and the bottom, so I need to remove twice that much, and then you subtract it from the total. I'm really looking for 0.414, right? So anybody got a calculator? You doing the math for me? 46 times 0.414.
.46 times .414,
Uh-huh.
19.044.
0.044. I just wrote down 19. Oh, crap. Okay, here's 19.2. Now, these are sharp. I wouldn't want to use them for sizing, and they're expensive. So I'm going to transfer that over to my cheapy calipers that I use in my shop all the time.
So Jeff, when you said plastic, what kind of plastic?
UMHL, ultra high molecular something.
It doesn't have much give, so I'm thinking
If you just
3D printed in ABS would probably do the same thing.
probably. Andy, do you know the difference? Andy's my go-to guy.
TPU's more plastic.
On the other side, I'm not going to make such a wide mark. So I'll use just an 1/8" parting tool. Now, one thing you have to be careful about, and I don't know if you noticed it happened to me, but as I was coming in with one hand, the tool crept to the side a little bit, so my wall wasn't flat, right? And matter of fact, we're going to flatten it up right now, because we're measuring off of it. It's got to be relatively accurate. All right, so now I need to go back to the measurement of the 0.293. Am I upside down or right side up when I do that to you all? Right side up? Okay. Now I have to go back to this 293, and I'm going to make a couple marks. So we got to do the math again. So what's 46 times 0.293? audience participation, huh?
13.478.
I only wrote down 13.47. There's 13.45. We're going to call that close enough. Now, so it's kind of an optical illusion. It's kind of hard to do this right offhand, but we're going to come in that far from each side. All right? Michael, did you do this for him? Oh, Michael's not here. Where's Michael? He was doing spheres and he was using the same method. So I didn't know if you'd seen this before. Okay. Then we're going to come down that distance here, which is to my tenon, right? And if the cameras aren't quite right to see it, well, you can see it from over there. You're good. All right.
You want me to move it?
No, I just wanted to visualize that it's the same measurement down as well. We just get rid of some of it. We don't need any of that. Okay. Now I need to make a straight line between my line above and that tenon below. Okay. Now, what did I do wrong? Anybody know? So, as a turner who turns artistic shapes all the time, you never want a flat. So to me it was very natural to turn a right, and I don't want that. This time I want a flat, because the flat is going to be the right position for this one. I did better on because I thought about it after I did the first one. Right? So I want a flat because a flat is going to be what my measurement works from. Okay. So now I have a flat here I can work better from. Okay? So, the next measurement is 0.107. Okay? Oh, he's getting his calculator out again. 46 times 0.107.
4.922.
5, I heard that. Okay. So, get my pencil again. And this time I'm coming in from this point and from this point. And then I'm coming down the wall here by that same measurement here and here. Okay. Now, we could go absolutely berserk crazy and we could put the same thing here by making these tenons smaller, but I think I can get close enough from this. If I were a wise man, I would have divided 46 by 2 and put a line right in the middle. Let's just eyeball a line right in the middle. All right, how'd I do? Maybe a little bit this way. And we'll make it a little bolder on this side. Better? All right. Got Ben's approval. I'm ready to go. So, now I'm going to connect. Oh, I didn't draw my lines there. Chipper. So I'm going to come over here and draw this line. And then come over here and draw this line. Okay. So now I'm going to connect these two lines and these two lines. Okay. Did anybody do that string art as a kid where you'd put the nails in and then everything was square with the string but it made a curve? That's all we're doing. We're just doing it backwards. So that's my sphere, and if I don't mess it up, I got it made, right? So I'm gonna leave my line in the middle, work down one side. The highest point stays flat. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? Are we there? Let's make sure. There we are. Yeah, maybe not right there. Maybe just a smidge more here. So, what did I do? I took a hole saw and I ground the teeth off. Now make it flat. Chipper wasn't paying attention. Chipper thought, oh, well, if I put an angle on that, it'll be a much sharper edge. It's gonna, oh, that grabs in. You don't want to do that. Make it flat. Okay.
So Spherical right better.
Now when Christian did this is as far he went, he made his handle, he cocked it at an angle. I thought, no, there's got to be a better way. So I am going to go ahead and finish off the sphere. Now, I'm going to move this a little closer. Down a smidge. Now what do we know? We know if I bring this down and I try to cut that off flush, I'm never going to cut it off quite flush. And if I leave a little bit and I twist it and pull it out, it's going to pull fibers out too. So I'm going to intentionally make the point where I break off the wood, be proud of that. Now I can come around that corner. I could even move this over to come around that corner and clean that up. But something else this did for me, this now gives me the opportunity to come around this corner here and make sure I'm perfect on the end, right? All right, somebody say it. Why'd you spend so much time fussing if you're going to use that thing anyway, right?
Size of this thing.
It's marked on that. It's 1 3/4.
Does that to be?
It's got to be. It's got to be just a little bit smaller than your ball. So I made my ball basically 1 7/8. That's 1 3/4. The one that I passed around is too big. Yeah, it would be for a 2-inch ball. I think it was a 1 7/8. All right. So, but now I got to turn this thin handle. How am I going to do that? Kids always thinking I made a little concave here, right? Glued in my 3/4 tin. Screw it right on there. Now I have my support.
That's your jam.
Well, it's not really chucking, it's just a little extra support. And this is the one where I always have to do the handle the other way. This way, Chipper, this way. Okay. All right, just to make things move along, I'm going to use a continental gouge, which is basically a roughing gouge without wings, right? It's the bottom half of this. That says 3,000. Is that right? That's fast. So what did I do there? Does anybody know? Brad, you know. I cut, supported on this side of the tool, but I let the wing on this side of the tool touch. And I don't care how big you are, it's gonna roll over. See? Just like that. I think if I knew what caused that, I'd stop that. So I'm going to come in here and make a little detail right up close to my handle, my ball, my handle. Be a perfect place to get in there with a skew if I brought a skew. And I'm going to do a little bird scoop here. Now, I'm cutting uphill, right? So I'm cutting against the grain. I really shouldn't do it. I really should approach it from this side. This always makes me feel like I'm backed into this corner, right? Unless you turn left-handed. And this tool rest just a smidge high. What we're doing. I didn't do that. And that's always the hardest part, is meeting in the middle, right? When you're coming one direction and the other direction, you gotta meet in the middle. I got a little, not real happy with that. Try to take one more smoothing cut down through there. Tool rest were just a smidge lower, it would make it just a smidge easier. We're getting there, right? We kind of have a handle there. Oh, I really want to sand it, but you know. I don't want to put you through that pain. So I'm dangling over the tool rest a little ways here, right? At home I got a 4-inch tool rest. I bump right up in there, but that looks pretty good. So now we have decisions to make. That's always the tough part, isn't it? We have to decide what area is going to be the top and what area is going to be the bottom. Well, I'd almost say make this the top, because then it's all uniform brown color. But that's kind of boring. Wouldn't it be nice to have a two-tone? Let's go two-tone. Okay, it's going to be cantankerous. I don't have much audience participation. I'm used to you guys heckling or something. All I got is Brad over there nodding his head. Okay, back to my spur center, my steb center, and I'm gonna have this little hook for the handle come down, right? So really it makes it easier for me to figure out where I'm gonna be. And you know, a lot of guys just eyeball this. My eyeballs have never been that perfect. Matter of fact, I got no guarantees I'm perfect even doing this. But I'm going to give myself a fighting chance by putting a mark down through there. Yep. Okay. And then I'm going to put the point of that center on that mark. And bring this up a little closer.
Okay.
Now, did anybody ever break their wrist? I broke my wrist once. And I went back to physical therapy, and the young lady said, "Does it hurt when you do anything?" I said, "Only when I give things a love tap." And she said, "What's a love tap?" She said, "Don't do that." She said, "Turn yourself a mallet." That's too easy. So drilled a hole down through the center of my mallet, put a little sleeve in there. So now I get lots of leverage. Okay? So don't let me do the love taps. I don't need to.
I want to turn the speed down.
What?
How far off center have you got that?
Way off.
Just long to go.
3/4 inch, maybe.
Hit fly to you.
He's standing directly behind you.
You really want to turn down, you big chickens.
You know you need a glove.
It'd be awful hard to cut that way, wouldn't it? It's much easier to cut if it's fast. Okay. Now, if I really want to make it easier on myself, oops, I drop everything on the floor. I'm really good at that. I put some white under here, and I can see the ghost a little better. All right, you're looking from overhead, so can you see the ghost better now? Okay. 2,500. You guys got this shield here. Remember the first time I did something like this and I walked around and shook his hand just because he's in the front row? All right, I'm dangling, so I'm going to sneak up on it here. And I was talking, so I got a deep cut there. I can't make that deep a cut all the way through, so we'll have to take that in pieces. Okay, too healthy a cut. Take it in 2 passes. Okay, we gotta stop once in a while, just see where we are, right? Okay. It's still a little heavy for that little finger catch, right? And I still got my piece of my tenon here, so I know I got to go smaller than that. Probably going to come back here on the handle a little bit and smooth this whole thing out, right? A little abrupt change there. Let me come back. Well, you know what? As long as we're here, let's slide up, because that always makes things easier. Have a good supported cut. Are we getting close? Okay, we still got the bottom of that tenon right there, right? And we don't need that much anyway, so we'll just swing it around a little faster. Alright. It fits the hand alright.
Move your paper over just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a smidge. One more cut. Looks all right. What do we think? Okay. Now, if you're going to sand this, now's the time to sand it, right? But if you're going to sand this, you want to sand one direction with your 180. Then you want to reverse the lathe and run the other direction with your 240. Then reverse back for your 320 and reverse again for your 400. Otherwise, one of these edges is going to be sharp and the other edge is going to be smooth.
And
Right.
you don't have reverse on your lathe. Sorry.
And you turn everything around and you put it back. It could be done. Okay. So, again, we don't want to take this down to the very end and leave a little nub and twist it off and tear the fibers out. So we're going to intentionally take away all this back here. We don't need anyway. He's saying, I don't know, you might need that. But right? Should I get thinner? You're not going to say a word. All right, so now I've got my little sacrificial place. Break that off. It took some fibers out, but not enough that I'm not going to sand that away, right? Okay. So far, so good. We're all on the same page? All right. Now comes the fun part. It's heavy with those jaws on it. Shut key here. That's not going to work. Somebody stop me when I start doing silly things. That's a 33 millimeter. It won't fit on the 1 1/4. So I paid Mel just to keep track of me of those things, and he let me down. I had to dock his pay. Okay. Click. Right? Except I got it upside down. To me, this is the worst part. Because if I hollow it out and these are cocked one way or the other, I'm all messed up. smidge so it fits in there. Now this is not centered in the hole there, just not that it matters that much. And then I've really got to make sure I have no swing here for this lathe, huh? Okay, yeah, okay. Phew. All right. How much do you cock this? There's not a right answer, right? We're going to go ahead and take it back a smidge. It's not a ladle, it's a coffee scoop, right? And then, like I say, the hardest part to me is getting this. So if you look straight down that camera, can you need to move over a little bit, don't you, to do that. But does this move? No. Okay. Anyway,
Where do you wanna go?
I eyeballed it straight up and down to make sure that this was straight up and down, and I just thought, oh, that's how you do. Thank you. So you can look at these two wings. Is everything in alignment? That's the hardest part to me. We're satisfied? Better? Brad says. Okay. And just because it's plastic, I'm going to just double, triple check myself. Make sure I'm good and tight. Now it is a little forgiving if I bump this, as long as I don't get this nice sharp edge I left right here. It will move in there. But then it's a booger to line it back up, right, if you're halfway through hollowing. So that's why I said, gosh, do you have a longer tool rest? Not that I need it. I'm only going to work here. But when this is swinging around here, it just makes this wrist feel better to have a longer tool rest.
You have a longer one, don't you?
Yeah, you pulled one out, and I got to work that left-handed. That is a monster tool rest. And it's, like I say, it's far more than I need, but it's just a little comforting. All right, so that's going to clear. It's going to clear that bolt right there. It's going to clear on that side over there. I don't know why I want to make it even. It doesn't matter. Okay, are we happy with that?
Yeah.
My wrist is happier knowing it's behind this. Okay. This. Probably leave right there. So, did you say slow? Did somebody say slow it down? I think somebody said slow it down. Okay. The chuck is off balance, right? So I got just a little bit of movement here. I don't have that with my one way, but it's not enough to worry about. Of course, I have umpteen pounds of lead stuffed in my one way. I don't even know how much weight I really have. Okay. See why I like that? Yeah, I don't know. It just gives me a warm fuzzy. I'm gonna stop and look every once in a while, because I know I've got this round part of this handle here. And if you notice on one of those I passed around, it's flat, which is okay, but I made the detailed line. I prefer to keep it. How close am I to it now? So that time, if you notice, I started very close. My flute was straight up and down because I didn't want to slide backwards into that little piece I'm trying to save there, right? I wanted to cut straight in. As soon as I had 1/8 of an inch for my bevel to rub, then I opened up 10 degrees, make it cut much easier, right? Okay. Now, it's empty, it won't hurt. I am going to grab my handy dandy Sharpie here. I don't like to make funnels. I've made many funnels. They make great kindling. They aren't too good for bowls, right? So I'm going to hold my spindle gouge up here, take it down to where the bottom is, and I'm going to back it off, I don't know, 3/16, something. I'm going to make a little mark there. It doesn't like that speed. It wobbles, doesn't it? Okay. How comes he turns off the lathe to lower the tool rest? He didn't do that earlier. Okay. So now I'm going to ease up here. And I'm going to find that sweet center spot. And I'm going to raise the tool off the tool rest, come straight in, pry back a little bit as I'm coming straight in. Now my flute's this way, right? So when I pry back, I'm pushing this bottom wing into the wood. What was that? That is fine. Might have pried just a little too hard. Oh, there's a black mark right there. I pried just a little too much, and when I pried, I moved that handle just enough. Okay? Just enough to mess up the detail, right? Okay, so now I've removed the center all the way down. This tool just a little bit warm, not too bad. Because if you think about like the hands on the clock, right? The outside diameter is traveling at a higher speed than the inside diameter. And the very center is almost standing still. It did move. Just a smidge, just enough to mess me up, right? I moved the tool rest, that doesn't help me. Okay. Close enough. Okay. can't bring that too close, can I? Because I have this to worry about. And that's over there. All right. Done fussing. So, I want everything else to happen pretty much on the center line from here on out. 1600. Now, my shape actually gets wider here, right, than it is at the mouth. It gets wider as I go. So I really got to reach way across and cut back into it. Way across her as I can get. But that's alright, because I can make my tools shorter. Yep, not much shorter. That'll work. So, I really got to cut back into it. And I'm removing too much material, so I got to take that 2 passes. Okay, so I'm just going to check where I am at the bottom. I've still got quite a ways to go there. Okay, I am as deep as I want to go. I'm running into the shield
Move
there.
that frame a little bit away from the light.
There is nothing wrong with using a little random scraper once in a while, right? So I'm going to raise this up a smidge. Make sure I'm still clearing everywhere. I might come up through the nub in the bottom. I have one nub there. Bring any little calipers. We could reach in there with little calipers as the thicker wall thickness is, but we can come in with this guy, drop down behind, push it in, and we can see, I don't know, what is that? Is that an 1/8? Is that 3/16? That's enough, isn't it? That's what it is. It's enough. Okay? So, hate to say it, but there's a nub right there. made it worse instead of better. You guys know how to get a nub out, right? You just kind of sneak underneath and pull right up through it. Okay? So, if I could find the right chuck key, I'd show it to y'all. And that black paint on that one, that's a design feature. I intended that. Right? Okay, so you see my hole, my ball, my sphere was not perfect. I was a little proud on this side of the sphere. So it leaves me an uneven, but you know. Not bad for doing it in front of a bunch of people that are heckling me the whole time.
It's better.
Anybody have any questions? Any thoughts? How can I make it better? Sir?
How do you get the hole through it so you can smoke?
That is exactly, my daughter is a nurse, and she came off a 12-hour shift. She works overnights. She walked in the door, I had some sitting on the kitchen table, and said, Dad's making meth pipes? Oh. Well, thank you all for having me. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.